Hi, I'm Ames Asbell. I'm Assistant Professor of Viola at Texas State University, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about setup, instrument setup today. Um, I find that we all sound our best when we're feeling our strongest and most relaxed, and those two things sometimes can be in conflict with each other. It's hard to achieve that balance sometimes between feeling strong and supported in your playing and then also being as relaxed as you can. So I just wanted to talk you through just a couple of aspects of setup that will hopefully help. First of all, I like to feel really supported by the ground when I play, really like almost like my feet are sinking into soft earth or sand, or like when you go to the beach and you stand on the edge of the sand and the water comes up, you're kind of in the sand after a while. That kind of feeling, really strong. I like to think that I have two strong columns in my body. You can't really see my feet, but if you could see that they're pretty much exactly shoulder width apart. So I feel the support comes from your feet, goes up through in a nice straight column through your ankles, knees, hips, all the way up to your shoulders. Now, the one thing you want to be careful is that you're not locking your knees. Your knees are still kind of strong and soft. But in terms of just a vertical line, you'll have two nice strong columns. Nothing else needs to be sort of stiff or tense. We're just thinking strength, like a really strong tree. So even if the wind blows, you still have some support. As upper string players, violinists and violists, really we often have a hard time finding a good balance with our instrument. So before we even get the instrument up, I want to be sure that we're staying relaxed in the shoulders and neck. I think one of the big challenges today with all of the computer devices and screens that we deal with is that people tend to do this kind of even unconsciously, that we tend to hold tension in our shoulders to bring our shoulders in a little bit. So before we even put the instrument up, we want to check in and make sure that the shoulders are hanging down nice and soft and relaxed. You can maybe swing your arm and imagine that your arm is swinging freely out of that shoulder socket. That can help. Or imagine you're holding a bucket of water. That might help pull the shoulder down a little bit. Just really keeping an awareness in the shoulders all the time. And then the other place to really watch out for is your neck, particularly the spot where your skull sits onto the top of your spine. That's another place a lot of people tend to hold tension. So one thing I like to tell my students is to imagine that you're a bobblehead doll. You've probably seen those. They're pretty humorous. And we have a good time with this kind of imagining that we're a bobblehead and letting your skull rest freely on the top of your spine and kind of exploring a little bit of freedom of motion there. So that's one tool you can use to kind of check in with those muscles and make sure you're not holding extra stuff, extra tension, the tension of the day, that we tend to let creep in. Once you've done all of that stuff and you make sure you've got two strong columns and nice relaxed shoulders and a nice bobbly head, then it's time to put the instrument up. Be careful when you do it. A lot of us kind of have this habit of kind of flipping our head or arranging ourselves around the instrument. So really watch out for that. And it's good to kind of examine your habits, maybe even videotape yourself doing it so that you can see what you're doing. I try to really make sure that I put the instrument up with no reaction from my body at all and bring the instrument into me. And then we want to make sure that we drop our head into the support of the chin rest in the way that's the most relaxed and in the way that changes your posture the least. So for me, you can see I don't turn my head really. I almost think about putting my jaw on the chin rest. In fact, you might even think of it as the jaw rest and not the chin rest. A lot of times we think chin rest and we think we've got to get our chin on there somehow, and you really don't. Your head weighs a lot, and by itself it's going to support the instrument just fine. So just make sure you get the instrument nestled in. I'm kind of at maybe a little bit wider than 45-degree angle to my body here, thinking from this angle right here. So just find a nice comfortable place for you and then let the head drop. Excuse me, my hair is in the way, so those of you with long hair may have to look out for that. Once you've done that, you should be able to test your posture pretty easily. You can test it by first check your shoulders, raise them and drop them. Make sure that feels secure. You might do this over a carpet or next to a bed the first time you do it, because if your hold is not, your instrument support is not secure, you certainly don't want to damage your instrument. Check your shoulders, check your neck, see if you have a bobblehead going. Can you say yes? Can you say no? I feel pretty secure. I could walk around the room this way. And you should too. You should be able to keep that strong support, really feel connected to the floor, drop your shoulders, relax your neck, and everything should be really securely supported there. And once you have found that nice balance and relaxed posture, then you're ready to add the bow and do other things with your playing. Hopefully this will help you to achieve a nice, relaxed, and balanced approach to your instrument. Thanks for listening.